This usual disclaimer. So, of course, the release of the product, as Alan said, is in exactly a month from now. So, what we will share in as for the product will probably be exactly the same, but it's mostly for this slide, which is a roadmap, and those are plans. And I'm sharing with you the plans as we see them today. But of course, as everything which is in future, this is subject to change. So I was really happy to see that only 11% of you are still running for the 2. So I'm sure you know by now that for 2 is not supported anymore. So I really encourage you to plan for your upgrade. And actually, your upgrade can be done either in for the 3, which is the only supported version at that time, or directly in BI 2025, which will be available in the months from now. So you've seen some versions of this line many times, I know. I will try to highlight the recent changes. So the first one is regarding 4.3, we have changed a bit the mainstream and support policy. So first, we have extended the mainstream maintenance by a year until end of 2026. And rather than having, previously we were calling it P1 support, so which meant that we were only fixing priority 1 issues. Now we are aligning with the rest of SAP products, and we will fix during this year, 2027, potential vulnerabilities, and there is this standard classification of security issues, and we will fix those with a severity greater than 7.0. So this is really similar with what we are doing with P1 support. Another change we've introduced recently is adding some customer-specific maintenance. So it's not available for further 2, unfortunately. It will be available from further 3 on and the next releases. During customer-specific maintenance, you can open a ticket. Support will help you. Will try to reproduce your issue. In the positive case, there will be a workaround or a fix on the version you're using. So here in this example for the 3, so this is the positive case. The less positive case is that we reproduce the issue on for the 3, but the fix is only existing on a subsequent release, and we will ask you to go on this next release. So in other words, during customer-specific maintenance, the version is supported, but we do not deliver fixes. So it can be okay if your environment is completely stable. There is a certain level of risk not to be on the latest version. So now going forward, we are introducing a new way of numbering the versions with the next one, BI 2025, followed by BI 2027 in 2 years from now. And I will explain the main reason for this naming change in the next slide. But what is here the important for you is to consider BI 2025 as a 4.4 in terms of gap, in terms of effort to upgrade from the previous releases. And you can see BI 2027 as a next support package. So it's really similar to what we were doing before with support packages every year. Now we have a support package or a minor version every 2 years. And we do that to really address a concern from many customers that we were releasing too often and that this was really difficult to keep up to date to the latest versions. Each of those versions will be in mainstream maintenance during 3 years, followed by 1 year of security fixes, and then followed by customer-specific maintenance. As of today, we are committing on, so we will deliver BI 2025, and we're committing on BI 2027, and we are currently discussing internally the opportunity to announce already BI 2029. I can't announce it today because it's not completely cleared out, but hopefully I'll be able to do that in a short term. And when we can announce that, we will update the SAP Analytics Statement of Direction. So you will have the link with the slide, which is the reference document when it comes to business objects strategy. Entering into a lower level of detail, for each version, we will obviously deliver fixes in patches if needed. And the pace will be a cumulative patch every 6 weeks during the 2 first years, and then every 8 weeks. So I changed this slide recently. There was a gray line with branches and explaining that we were synchronizing on-premise and private cloud edition. So I changed that. But of course, we still have, or you still have the choice to deploy business objects either on-premise or as managed cloud. Of course, here on this slide, you can see that there is another option in the middle, which is to keep paying the maintenance and bringing your licenses into infrastructure as a service. And here on this slide, you can see that you can move from managing everything by yourself, which is the blue bar, to delegating the infrastructure and some maintenance to SAP through private cloud edition. And on the right-hand side of the slide, you can see that there is even an option where you need, for any reason, you need to have your hardware on your premises, but you want to delegate some maintenance to SAP. We have an option to that for that, which is called customer data center option. But in this case, you need to run hardware which is certified by SAP. So takeaway here, you still have the choice, and you will continue to have the choice to run business objects either on-premise or through a managed cloud. So this is a slightly changed version of a slide you've seen zillions of times already, but it's still super important to understand that from BI 2025 on, there will be some components which will not be available anymore. Namely Lumira Discovery, Crystal Reports for Enterprise, Analysis for Lab 5 Office, and UNV Universes, which means that before upgrading to BI 2025, you need to move away those components which are not available. So for Universes, you need to migrate your UNVs to UNX. And if you were using, or if you are using one of the deprecated components, you need to shift your workflows in the supported ones. The main reason is really to rationalize and to optimize our maintenance resources. And we chose to continue maintaining and enhancing the most adopted tools, starting with Web Intelligence, Crystal Reports. For Analysis for Office and Lumira Designer, we are entering a maintenance-only mode. We know those tools are super popular, so we will keep supporting them, but we will not have any new feature. And for those two ones, the clear recommendation is to go to SAP Analytics Cloud for those use cases. This slide, you've seen it already several times as well. Just to mention that we propose the two solutions. We have for each component a blog explaining what is the route to move away, and we are committed to support you in case you face challenges. In terms of platforms, we will not support anymore AIX and Solaris. We will focus on Windows and Linux. And as you probably know by now, Crystal Reports 22 services only work on Windows since BI 4.3 SP2. So now coming to the topic of today, so again, Gregory will go through a demo in details of Web Intelligence. And here I will really highlight some key elements of the other part of the portfolio. And starting with the themes, the main themes, and maybe there is a theme number 0, which is not indicated here, but this is super important, which is keep everything working as before. And this is really a mantra I have repeated to the developers that that's really important to have new features and you will see we have great features to share with you. But I know as well that this is super important for you guys, that when you move to the next release, that everything which was working, that you don't want any surprise, and the reports, when you upgrade, the same reports need to behave the exact same way. So that is maybe the first priority. And then 3 things, helping IT to reach more users. And again, Gregory will show you what we've done. In Webby, for Crystal Reports, the main area of development has been to catch up in Crystal Reports what was existing in Crystal Reports for Enterprise. There were few features that were specific to Crystal Reports for Enterprise that were stopping, so we brought them back in Crystal Reports, starting with supporting UNX, obviously. In terms of productivity, version after version, we try to make the life of the content creators easier, and this version make no difference. And for Crystal Reports, we have now RESTful SDKs. And of course, an area which is super important as well is to reduce or lower the cost of ownership, and it's more on the platform. So here, to be a bit specific, we have made conscious effort to simplify the migration projects. Again, we are hearing regularly the feedback from customers that moving from one version of one support package to the next one takes a lot of time and costs a lot of money. And here we have really made some improvements so that this is easier. We know that you often have complex landscape, and you are asking us to support the latest standards in terms of authentication. So here as well, we've made some improvements. And more end user feature, we have delivered the possibility to add directly some report paths, and typically Webby report paths, widgets, KPIs, directly visible from the Launchpad, which means that for certain type of users who are really only interested by high-level KPIs, they don't need to open a report anymore. They can connect to the Launchpad directly. For Crystal, I mentioned it already. So we have done everything that Crystal Reports for Enterprise customers or users can do exactly the same with Crystal Reports. And we have developed as well desktop viewer for Crystal Report, which was not existing, only in Crystal Reports for Enterprise. And I mentioned the SDK already. Some details about what we've done to support connectivities. We have a new SAP BW driver, and it's more than enhancing. We are now supporting relational UNX universes with Crystal Report, and so we have enhanced the query panel and everything which is linked to this.